Hey, Geneviève, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How is the Uproar tour?
It's going so well. It really, all of the expectations I had were smaller. The crowds are bigger and the people are crazier, and we're just having the greatest time.
This is the first time you tour so long.
Pretty close. We did Avalanche tour last, in the spring, and that was our longest. This is beating that. So yeah, it's the longest we've been out together.
Did you make some friends with all the other members of the band?
Yeah, you know what? It's a lot. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of friends and family on the tour. Bands like Seether, we've done some stuff with before, and had Sean sing on a song before, so it was kind of cool. It's great to be with those guys. And 3 Days Grace, they're brothers of ours. Adam and Cale are actually cousins, so we know those guys and we go way back. So that's always awesome to hang out with those boys. And we had a couple poker games on our bus already, and a bunch of the guys from Avenged and some of the other bands have been just hanging out. Everyone seems really cool.
Do Rambo the Horse is still on tour with you?
No, that was just in Houston. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
We were parked beside those were the police horses, so we got to, kind of have a little farm experience on the road.
There's a question I have for you. Do you know if Seven Dust will be at the Uproar in Montreal next week? Because last time they did a tour with Disturbed, they were not able to go in Canada.
Yeah, you know what? Don't quote me on this, but I don't think they will be there. I'm pretty sure I heard that they're not crossing the border, so it's unfortunate because they're a great band.
Yeah, I know. Do you have some crunchy stuff for me on the Uproar tour?
Some crunchy stuff?
Crazy stories, fans thing, everything.
You know what? Probably the highlight of the tour for me was we were playing Best I Can, which is kind of a ballad, and it's kind of ballsy for us to even pull out a ballad in our set, but we love to play it. So there was a mosh pit earlier for the song before that, and basically, it was getting very, very rowdy. These guys were kind of, throwing a lot of elbows and stuff, and we started playing this ballad, and they all stopped. So you never know if they're going, if the crowd's going to turn on you or embrace the moment. And these guys actually, there was a guy out there in a wheelchair who was moshing with them, and it was really kind of cool. And they decided during the ballad to pick him up, and he rode the crowd in his wheelchair to the front and made it safely over the barrier. And I was reaching out to him to kind of help get him over while I was singing, and it was just, during Best I Can, it was a really, really touching moment, and I'll never forget it.
Oh wow, that's a cool story. Vice Virtues is the first CD on Intoxication, the new record label of David and Dan from Disturbed. How did they approach you to be on Intoxication with this record?
It's funny. They took us out on tour back in 2008, and just to kind of share an opportunity with us. And we just, went on the tour, played our hearts out every night, had no idea they had a label. And that's kind of, I guess the whole tour was like a showcase. That's when they told us they wanted to sign us to their imprint on Warner Brothers. And the rest is history. We said yes and went ahead, and it took a little while to get it all rolling. But it was just, kind of that's how it happened.
You were at the right place at the good time.
Yeah, we did a lot of groundwork to make sure people heard our indie record, and to make sure people knew we were very serious about, never giving up and just trying to make the best music that we can. And Dan definitely caught wind of that, and he and David really enjoyed the music. And once they saw us play live, that was it for them. So we just feel fortunate to have those guys in our lives, because they're two of the nicest people I've ever met in the music industry, that's for sure.
They said that Art of Dying had a great musicianship What does it mean to you?
You know what? Every person in our band is basically my favorite player of that instrument in the world. Like, just, you know, Jeffy on the drums is just no better drummer, and Kale on the bass, I feel the same way, and Greg and Tavis, the way they play their guitars, just complement each other so well, and forget about it once we start singing together and doing our three-part harmonies and stuff. It's magical. So I think, you know, that's what, when I think of musicianship, that's exactly what I think of.
There were the 3 former members are not in the band since 2008. What happened?
You know what? When we got offered that Disturbed tour, we just felt a very seriousness in our career and our lives moving forward, and we just had to make some choices. And you know, just like anyone does in any career, we just had to make step things up and be more professional. So we just decided to do it that way.
Okay. How it was working with Howard Benson? It's a big name.
Totally. Yeah, I was a little nervous actually to work with Howard, and that. I got, you know, that feeling went away really fast. He's a really cool guy, and he's kind of a scientist, you know, behind the music. And there's a lot going on upstairs in Howard's head, so it's kind of cool to talk to someone like that about music and songs and have that come out on your record.
How do a song of Art of Dying take life? How do you create?
You know what? It's been so many years of writing and stuff that it happens differently all the time. Now that we're all together on the road all the time, we just write constantly. You know, there's always an acoustic guitar kicking around, and ideas just come right out of the woodwork of the tour. You know, a little Jack Daniels and a little beer, and all of a sudden we've got a song. But, you know, when we're home, we all write separately as well, and I do a lot of writing just on my own at home, and I really enjoy the art of songwriting. You know, lyrics and music and melody, just there's no greater feeling when the puzzle pieces start to come together on a certain song. So I really just chase that high all the time and love writing.
There's one of my listeners here in Quebec City that said, "Hey Jen, can you ask him how it was to re-record Die Trying with Sean of Cedar?"
It was great. He such a great guy, and that was the first tour I had ever been on of that level. And about a year later, Sean was in Vancouver on tour, and I just asked him, it just was a coincidence that we were recording it at that time, and asked him if he'd want to come in and sing, and he just came in and laid it down, and it was amazing. He's just such an amazing vocalist. I mean, his voice is so thick and warm. I love it.
Why choosing Die Trying to be the first single?
You know, it's the story of our lives. It's the story of our band. It's about never giving up. And I love how, you know, heavy it is and how it feels very real and you know, a little dark. And I think, you know, Art of Dying, the band name, you know, is a really positive thing when you flip it around, and it's really about living. So Die Trying just seemed to add that certain heavy approach that I want people to think of when they think of our music.
You just answered my next question. It was, what mean Art of Dying?
Yeah, you know what? It actually comes from a longer sentence. The art of dying is my life to live, and it's all about embracing your time, because life is precious. And, you know, once you realize as soon as you're born, you're really on a path to the end. Once you realize that, you know, you live a little differently and you take things a little more seriously. So that's kind of what we're about, embracing every day, but having a lot of fun while we do it.
When you will be in Montreal next week, do you know when you will play? There are some people that asking me, do you know the lineup of the Uproar in Montreal?
Don't quote me on this because I don't have it in front of me, but I believe we're on at 3:20.
Okay.
I think doors on those shows are quite early, like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or something like that. I wouldn't miss any band if I had a ticket for Uproar, because it's so solid from start to finish. I've just been overwhelmed at how many people have been showing up early for these shows. it just feels fantastic. So get there early, and I believe we're on at 3:20.
Okay. What's next for Art of Dying in 2011?
You know what? We're gonna hammer through on this Uproar tour till the end. We're playing the 48-hour festival in Las Vegas. Kind of a nice icing on the cake at the end of this thing. And then we're going to be announcing probably a club tour shortly after that. So stay tuned.
Will you come back again in Quebec City? Because I saw you with Disturb in 2009, I think.
I absolutely love Quebec. Quebec City and Montreal and the entire province, I think, is just an amazing place with beautiful people, and we will spend as much time as humanly possible there. We always have a great time.
Thanks, Johnny. I will let you go. Have a great Uproar tour, and maybe see you in Montreal next week.
Definitely come and say hello, and thank you for taking the time, Genevieve. Thank you.